Hello my dear children. In today's science class, we will discuss about a new chapter. The name of the chapter is Sorting Materials into Groups. Now, first of all, we come to know what is object. Anything that we can see or touch is known as an object. Now, our next point is, or the learning objectives from these chapters are classification, why classification are needed. Next, materials and their types. And the last one, the properties of materials. Now children, look, we have seen different type of foods that we eat, different type of clothes that we wear, and so many varieties of things around us. So we need to classify them to understand them in a systematically way. Now, what is classification? Classification on the basis of certain similarities and dissimilarities, different objects are arranged in different groups. This is called classification. All objects have different shape, size, color, and also they have different properties. To study them in a systematical way, we need to classify them. Clear children? Need of classification. It helps organize object in such a way that it is easy to find them. Next, it helps in identifying and locating objects. Next, it helps in letting know that how members of one group differ from others and how members of one group are similar of those of other groups. So these are the need of classification. Materials. Materials is a substance which is used in making different objects. Materials are two types. One is natural materials and other one is man-made materials. What is natural materials? Materials those are obtained from nature are known as natural materials. Example, wood. And man-made materials which are obtained by man in a factories and not found in nature are known as man-made materials. Example, plastic. Now, the properties of materials. Number 1, appearance. Number 2, texture. Number 3, hardness. Number 4, state. Number 5, soluble and insoluble. Number 6, floating and sinking. And number 7, transparency. Now, we are going to discuss them one by one. Our first property, appearance. Materials generally look different from each other. It is known as their appearance. Some materials appear too shiny. Example, stainless steel utensils, it means steel, metal chains. But while the others look dull, like wood. Next, texture. Different materials feel different when you touch them due to their different texture. Some feel rough, bumps, rigid surface, example bark of a tree, and some feel smooth, plain surface, example glass sheet. Number third property is hardness. When you press different materials with your hands, some of them may be compressed easily and while others cannot be compressed due to their hardness. Materials that can be compressed easily are known as soft materials. Example, cotton, sponge, etc. And materials that can be difficult to compress due to their hardness are known as hard materials. Example, iron, copper, different kind of metals. Clear, children? Fourth properties, state. Materials are grouped on the basis of their physical state. All materials are made up of matter. Matter is anything that has mass and occupy space. Matter exists in three states. One is solid, other one is liquid, and third one is gas. Now, what is the basic difference between them? Solid, their shapes are definite. In case of liquid, their shapes are not definite, and gas also their shape is not definite. Volume of a solid is definite. Liquid, in case of liquid, volume is also definite, but in case of gas, the volume is not definite. Next, in case of solid, particles are very closely packed. In liquid, particles are less closely packed, and in case of gas, particles are very loosely packed. Next, attraction between the particles in case of solid is very strong. In case of liquid, the attraction between the particles not very strong, but in case of gas, the attraction between the particles are very negligible. This is the reason gas can flow very easily. Clear, children? Fifth properties, soluble or insoluble. If a substance dissolved completely in water, it is said to be soluble. Example, sugar or salt. If it is does not dissolve at all, it is said to be insoluble, like sand, chalk powder, wood, etc. Now, solubility of liquid in water. If the liquid totally or completely mixed with water, it is known as miscible liquid. And if it is does not mixed completely or make a separate layer, it is known as immiscible liquid. Miscible liquid example is lemon juice with water, and immiscible example is oil with water. Come to next, solubility of gases in water. Usually very less quantity or very small quantity of gases are dissolved in water. In case of aquatic life, oxygen and carbon dioxide are dissolved in water, which help plant life and animal life. Plant use the carbon dioxide which is dissolved in water and prepare their food. The name of the process is photosynthesis. And aquatic fish are take that oxygen and survive their life. In there are some gases like hydrogen, nitrogen and methane which are not dissolved in water. Clear, children? Our sixth property, floating and sinking. Children, you might have observed insoluble solid substance are settled down at the bottom and immiscible liquids are floated on the surface of water. Why? Because stones are heavier or dense than water, so it is sink, and immiscible liquid or the dry leaves, which all other things that are lighter than water are floats on the surface of the water. Last property from this chapter is transparency. On the basis of visibility, materials are three types. Number one, transparent, translucent and opaque. Now what is transparent materials? The materials through which we can see all the object clearly are known as transparent materials. Example, water, glass. Next, translucent. Translucent are the materials through which we can see partially the object. It is known as translucent. Example, butter paper, frosted glass, etc. Opaque. Opaque are the material through which we cannot see any object is known as opaque material. Example are cardboard, metals. Hope this full chapter is clear to you all. Thank you.